Jai Shri Mataji.
Yes, Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji, Uncle Manish Singh and Auntie, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon here. Morning for you in Los Angeles. Good morning to you. And we want to know from you, and it's really great that Auntie has joined in today as well. Before we proceed with the interview with both of you together, may I just request you, Uncle, to please tell us about what Shri Mataji advised you regarding the Yuva Shakti, because there was a lot of information firsthand that you shared with us, which we have in lots of Sahaj books like Raising Children and Shri Mataji's speeches. What is there about Yuva Shaktis, and what is it that she's told you that could benefit not just the Yuva Shaktis but the younger generations to come? If you could please elaborate on that.
Sure. So I think the Yuva, as we understand and we know, in such terms, Yuva means the power of Sri Ganesha. It is the power of innocence, which is the driving force of Yuvas. And of course, with that comes chastity. The reason being that the first relationship which was created was that of a brother and sister. So, Ishmael said it many times that, when the three Mahashaktis, Shri Mahakali, Shri Mahasaraswati, and Shri Mahalakshmi, they created two children each. And so the sister and brother aspect was created before you could say, the marriage system was created. And so that power is so powerful. And that should be the essence of the Yuvas, that you walk into this, even if you come from outside, people should understand and be told that the relationship is that of a brother and sister, because that's how society actually grows, with that innocence and that power of innocence. So in everything that we do, that should be very visible. The other part is, she talked about it, that you all should have degrees. You should be professionals. You should do well in what you do, because what is it? You want me to be known as the mother of beggars? So children, as they're growing up, whichever area they want to excel in, they must remember that the basis of it is their first Sahaja Yogis, and then this is a role that they are playing. And whatever you decide. So say you have an affinity for technology. Well, go in for it, computer science, whatever, data analytics, Power BI, whatever it might be. But excel. You don't have to be number one or the best, but you need to excel in it, because at this point now we represent her, and we represent something much bigger than ourselves. So individual things is okay, but Sahaja Yoga is a collective thing. And we are representing the highest of highest, and that is her. So people judge Sahaja Yoga or evaluate Sahaja Yoga from the lens of the people that who are saying that we are that. We can put Shivandi's photograph over there, and that's the source which is going to enlighten anyone. But the source which is going to, people's perception about things is based upon how we express ourselves and how we conduct ourselves. And again, this can't be something which is an outside expression. It is something which we are innately. And so she's talked in many talks, she says, you're saints. Well, are we behaving like saints? Do we dress up like saints? Do we look like saints? Do we talk like saints? That is a self-reflection and a self-introspection that each person has to do. So at this point of time, one of the things which I see, I have young grandchildren, but there are so many other children. So are all the children equal to us? Because they are her children. So when we look at any child, are we seeing them from the same lens? There's sometimes you have to correct. And so are we correcting appropriately? And are we being kind and considerate? But sometimes you have to be very straightforward also about it and be like, you can't do this. I'll give you an example. So it was 1998. And, I guess I went on a little bit of an ego trip. And so, Shimaji was annoyed with me. And so, she told some other Sahaja Yogis that tell Manish to, step outside the collective for a while. And so that was a total uh, shock in a sense. And also it kind of, destroys your basis because that's who you are. And how, my mother said that to me, oh my God, so, but she knew what had to be done. So when she said that, I was quite heartbroken. And plus at the same point of time was like, what did I do wrong? What did I need to correct? And how a mother is, I think about a month or 2 months later, she had the leader of the US at that time call me and says, I was talking to Shimaji and she talked about you. And she said that, that boy is very clear-hearted. He's very clear-hearted. And so I'm calling, and this was early morning, like 6 o'clock my time. And I'm like,
Wow.
why is he calling me so early in the morning?
And you were in America?
Yeah. And so this was like a life support for me that,
Yes.
yes, Shimaji, scolded me, but as a mother, she has every right, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
as a parent, when we sometimes correct our children,
Yeah.
it's not because we don't love them, but the correction is the love. So
Yes. It's because we love them.
exactly,
But it is if you
exactly.
understand that.
Exactly. Yes,
You
Auntie.
can even take it the other way because I
Yeah.
remember when that happened, he just came home and he told us, and he told me one thing. He said, Heeru, I cannot live without Sahaja Yoga. I
Mm,
cannot. So we have to, together,
mm,
us children, we just have to do whatever it takes so that
mm.
she's pleased with us, you know?
Wow. Yes.
Because he said, I will not be able to live. I'll die, he told me.
Mhm. Yes, such devotion, such love. Yes.
Yeah,
And
and
what
so then,
reassurance then when you get that call at 6 a.m.?
yeah.
Yes.
So then later, at some point, Shimaji called me and she spoke to me and she said, Manish, whatever I'm doing is for your benefit. Because as a mother, it's only her benevolence which counts. And I said, yes, Shimaji. And then later she came to Los Angeles and then, she called me and then she said, okay, you can come back. But then she talked to me and she said, um, you couldn't even write a letter to me. And I remember at that point of time and I said, Shimaji, and I didn't know where to look also. So I was just looking at her feet and, whatever she had to say, she said to me. And then late, she said to me, she said, whatever I'm doing is for your benefit, for your benevolence. तुम ठीक हो जाओ तो और क्या चाहिए? And when she said, you become all right, what else is needed? I realized the thing wasn't that, you become okay this way or that way, but innately you become that spirit.
Yes.
Because that is the goal of a Sahaja Yogi. Our basis is innocence, purity, chastity. We are a society that's a foundation. And the ultimate is to become the spirit, not even the chakras, not even vibrations, but the spirit. So this is this inner journey which has to happen, and it has to happen and become complete, hopefully in this lifetime. And so in the process, then of course one does a lot of introspection because it pushes you to that point and makes you look deeper and say, okay, I'm meeting with people, that's great. I do my pujas, that's great. But am I becoming that? The point is the becoming. It is not the doing. In Sahaja Yoga, I might sit in the morning, I might sit in the evening, I might push soak, I might shoe beat. Okay, but those are activities. It is activities to become. So even treatments give you a reprieve and they allow the flow to move better. But that is not the goal. So if something is coming back again and again, then one has to reflect and see why it's coming and what do I need to do to correct it. Because otherwise you can keep doing treatments and it'll keep coming back. Because the basic thing one hasn't corrected. Collectivity is so important. Absolutely involved. But what happens supposing the collectivity is taking a downward path? Like there was this movement at a point where it was like, oh, we'll do collect surge meditation, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll change the norms from how Srimaji taught us and how she created. And I had to say to people, I said, look, I learned from her. I don't need to learn from anyone else. And the other
Exactly.
part of it is Surge Yoga is a very ancient thing.
Yeah.
Whatever Srimaji had to tell us and how it would be done, it needs to be done that way. And the good part of it is I think people took their little misadventures and tried their stunts, and then they came back to square one. So, one had to even stand up and say, no, that's not okay. So if, say, everyone collectively is going down and the ship is going down, so are you going to drown with it? No, you say, no, we need to get out of it. And for that reason, you may be unpopular also. And so be okay. I would say this, that some of my reactions were probably sharp. And so I could have done it differently. But that also one learns through experience. Shrimaji, even Surge Yoga, she said many times, this is also actually an experiment of the divine. But how successful it becomes is actually up to us because we are the ones on stage. All the deities, all the angels, all the Rishi Munis, everybody is supporting us from behind. But we are the ones who are in display. So, you have to see that part of it. And with that, one also discovered and realized that, she is the source of everything. So the dedication and the bhakti that we talk about is to her totally. And also the reverence. But then there's the Mahamaya aspect of Adi Shakti and is constantly testing us, checking us. The minute we go to thought, Mahamaya is acting, and you can go into any direction and spiral. She said many times, your fortress is thoughtless awareness. And I would say now, she also said, unless you get to doubtless awareness, you'll be punished. So one should take that seriously, because on one occasion, sitting with her, she said, this is the last judgment, Manish. And I couldn't even look at her. I was just looking at her feet and I just nodded my head and said, yes, Shimaji, I understand that, So
Do you
one has
remember when this was, Uncle?
This was soon after she asked me to come back and, I told you, so, but, one has to take these things seriously. One has to
Absolutely.
take them very seriously.
I think it was 1999.
I don't know, somewhere around there. And one has to just embrace it because that's the reality of it. And she told all of us that this is the last judgment. So when she said it's the last judgment, now somebody might say, when is Sri Kalki going to come? Well, he's already manifesting. You can see it, right? Shrimaji is very much there and she's trying to keep her flock together and also to grow the flock. So if that aspect of her in the Nirakar wasn't there, I don't think many of us would be wanting to stay on this earth anymore. But we have to take our responsibility that, the same way any city which Shrimaji went to, she'd be up till 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, working out the city. It would rain, we would be rubbing her feet and we were massaging her feet and she'd be up and she'd be clearing this and clearing that. Why did she do all that? It was to not only benefit the Sahaja Yogis, but all mankind. So the vision is the whole globe and all mankind. Of course, we can't force anyone, but whatever we can do, we must do it. And, the life should be dedicated to Sahaja Yoga. I would also say to children that in their careers and all that, they should be professional. They should be the best at whatever they want to do. But also, at the same point of time, realize that their career is not their life. That's not who they are. This is just a play which is going on. They have to play that play it well, enjoy it. Other people enjoy it. But at the core, you are this being which is an instrument of the divine, which is emitting her grace and her powers to all mankind. Because we have to be able to project these inner powers of us. Shri Mataji's talked about it. And she said, you don't have to reflect them. You have to project these powers. And so one has to learn that part also, because we don't know how to do it. So through experience, you learn it, and so one actually sits down and says, okay, how do I project? And then gradually through the process, you learn. I would also say one thing, as dealing with very small children, and I mentor a group of small children. I mean, be meant for everyone. And I was realizing that, how do you get these small children involved and interested? So, they've come up with nice ways of uppy and all those kind of things. But I was like, okay, that's also, then the kids, for them, that's a play aid, and then it finishes. But how do you have them interact with Shri Mataji? Because they're not seeing her physically. And so I was kind of looking through it, looking, and then I found in the mantra book, literally on the last page, the 9 bhaktis, the 9 devotions that a Sahaja Yogi should have. And these were given by, I think, Sainath, but he's Adi Guru, when he's saying, it's Shri Mataji saying, and it's 9 forms of devotion, which is hearing, which is bhajans, which is smaran, which is remembering. Then Pad Sevan is, doing the worship of Shri Mataji's feet. Archana, doing her puja. Namaskar, bowing down to her, so important. The friendship, which is the essence of collectivity and the self-surrender. So I was like, okay, so what I started doing is that with these children now, when we have our little meeting, I first say, okay, come on now, you need to wash Shri Mataji's feet. Then you offer something at her feet. Then, we'll sing some bhajan. It creates that thing. And with that, then you tell stories about Shri Mataji, tell stories about the deities, so that spiritual part of them, it's already there, but now you're just helping it to grow. So I think said a lot of things, but
very useful.
But I think the essential part of it is, learn that you are a Sahaja Yogi. You're a angel, you're a saint, and it should reflect and be very visible in everything that we do, how we do it. And it's coming from inside, not an outside show. It doesn't matter what anyone's thinking about you. It matters what you are innately, and that should be very visible. And so the joy should come there, the gravity should come there, the friendship should come there. And the friendship should be something which is very deep, not superficial. So.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Let's start with that. And it's a really nice way of actually children now and in the future experiencing, because as you said, the subtle system, the yantra is there inside all of us and the generations to come. It's doing the 6 forms of worship that Sri Sainath of Shirdi has said, and which we do every day in our meditation, unconsciously, unintentionally, without knowing those names, but we do them. So that's so nice that Shri Mataji has actually told us in such simple ways, and we're already doing it, and may we carry it on forever and ever to please her. and that is our only aim. Thank you for that, Uncle. Now, if I may ask, Auntie, where are you? Which part of India are you from, Auntie? And there was a very nice incident, actually, which relates to when you were married, newly married, and came to the household. What was it like for you?
So for me, it was, I mean, I was not born in Sahaja Yoga, but when Sahaja Yoga started in the 70s, my mother came to Sahaja Yoga probably around 72, 73. And at that point, she had lost her own mother. So she used to pray to God, and she said that you have taken my mother, my physical mother away, you have to replace her, because she was very emotionally attached to her mother.
Yes.
And then at that time, she found Shri Mataji, and those were the beginning days of Sahaja Yoga in Mumbai. And I was, I think, around maybe 8 or 9 years old at that time. And, so I have, three siblings, three older brothers, but my younger brother, I'm the youngest. And then my younger brother and me were the ones that mommy would always take, for all the programs and everything. My father was not a Sahaja Yogi, but he was becoming one. But he never stopped my mother, and we lived in a joint family, and everybody opposed, but my father would always let her go. And in those days, being the daughter-in-law of the house, and Shimaji's programs would run very late,
Yes.
and then, but Shimaji sometimes would drop her, bring her to the house to say that, I've got her, because, how culturally in India, like
Oh,
the daughter-in-law of the house, going without her husband, coming late at night, that kind of a thing. Yes, so I did kind of grow up, and I, as a child, I was to be very nervous about exams and things like that. So mommy would make me do foot soak. She would, work on me. She would do the Ganesha Thavashisha, and I just knew that I felt good. And we would go, my brother and me, we would go for all the pujas, grew up with all the collective there and I was the youngest child,
yes.
and but I never really understood Sahaja Yoga or what is Sahaja Yoga. One thing that I knew in my heart was that I just adore Shri Mataji, and I love her beautiful face. And that's all. I just want to be there, and nothing else was important to me, And whatever mommy would make me do, I knew I felt good. But that was it for me. So I wasn't really seeking God or, but I just happened to find God,
Yes.
but that's not enough, you know. And then I remember as a child one incident where I had a lot of pain in my appendicitis. I didn't know it was appendicitis, but those days, you just, it was a small collective. You all knew each other, and Sir CP was posted in Bombay. Those days it was Bombay. Now it's Mumbai, but so Shima, mommy would just, anything wrong, you just go to Shimaji, So she just took me. And I remember we had gone to the doctor before that, and the doctor said, yeah, it is appendicitis, but we have to wait a little bit. It's not matured enough to do surgery. So mommy just took me to Shimaji, and Shimaji just put her foot, on my appendicitis. And next time we went to the doctor said, what happened? There's nothing now, So those are the miracles that she,
How
did.
old were you?
I was probably 10 or 12 at that time,
Okay, so this would be 1974?
Probably, yeah. No, I'm 64. So yeah, I was
74.
74, 75, probably, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so that was it. And then then it came to the time of getting married. So and then like my father, he was not a Sahaja Yogi, but he was innately very pious man. He never smoked, never drank. My grandfather smoked. He drank, they with a little bit of brandy at night to make them sleep. But my father never did. And that was one of the conditions that my mom had told her parents when she got married, that I want to marry a man who does not drink or smoke,
Mm.
So he, but like my mom's side of the family was, I was born in a Sindhi family. They were very much into this wrong, false guru, so they really attack you and they always try to,
Mm.
do that. But so my father, had some heart issues, but he was coming around. And they had been a visit to America, and then after that, they were going, there was a family reunion, and then they were coming to London to see Shri Mataji. But at that point, he passed away on his flight going to Shri Mataji, you know, in the plane before the flight took off. But, it was like he was coming to her, and Shimaji then met my mother later, a week later, after the funeral and everything. And she came up actually on the same flight that Mummy was going to fly. She came back on the same flight a week later. And Shimaji came up to meet her in the plane. She got special from me, and she told her that, he was coming to me, but that Rakshas took him. But he went
Oh.
very peacefully. Yeah.
Mm.
And that was one thing that Shimaji, I think, has always said that, the blessings are always there, I
Mm.
think even when we got married, I remember Manish once told his family told Shimaji that I think I should move away from my family and, because they're not Sahaja Yogis. And then Shimaji said, no, it's okay. Let them be there, you know. And or even when he moved to America, also, like he said, maybe Heeru should move. She said, no, the blessings are there, you know. Even they were not Sahaja Yogis, but the blessings were there.
Mm.
So, but coming back to my marriage and my growth in Sahaja Yoga, so, like my husband always tells me, he says, Heeru, you just found it, so you don't value it. I do value it, but it was different journey. Like I said, everybody's journey is very different,
Very.
but he was always seeking, you know, and his mom would always tell me that, his family would always, when I got married, they told me, oh, this is just a phase, he's been to so many like South Guru, this Guru, but nothing satisfied him. He went to a Christian school also, but and he used to come home with rosaries and things like that, but nothing satisfied his soul, right? But when he found Sahaja Yoga, that was the turning point for him. So for me, I still had to find Sahaja Yoga. Just loving Shri Mataji and adoration of her was not enough. But then she got me married. She got me married to such a man who is like, like this. So even then, I still didn't really grow. I used to attend all the programs. I used to go everywhere, and I thought I'm a Sahaja Yogi, but that wasn't it. Then he came to America, and then, we had to wait a little while before we came. And at that point, we were from Delhi, we moved to Bangalore. That's where Manish had his posting. And then from there, he was asked to come to America. So we stayed on. I stayed with my in-laws. And,
In
they were
Bangalore.
in Bangalore for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was there at home one day, and I just sat down in front of Shimaji's photograph. And I started crying. And I wasn't crying that I was separated from my husband. I was just crying because I felt I'm talking to her, because I don't do this or that or anything. Those days were different when, we were in Delhi, and even if Shimaji is there, you would just walk in. But for me, it was different now, like, but he's not there. How do I go?
Mm-hmm.
But then in Bangalore, I just prayed to her in front of her photograph, and I cried. I cried my heart and said, Shimaji, either I should be, because even when I used to go for the programs, I used to get scoldings from Shivaji. Your left is catching, this is catching, but I would still want to be there. I didn't want to leave her pallu.
Yes.
Like I didn't want to leave the fold of her sari. I wanted to just be there, no matter even if she scolds me, I want to be there, because he used to cook and all for Shimaji. I would go and serve the chapati and all, and all that. But then again, that's just not enough. And that's when I prayed to her and I said, Shimaji, I don't want to be 1 foot here and 1 foot there. You know, you either make me feel complete and whole and let me feel this love of yours in my being. Otherwise, I don't want to be in surgery. You know, I don't want to be this half baked surgery. And I think you don't know sometimes what mantra to say, what to say. I don't know all of that. All that he would know, I didn't know. But it was a sincere prayer from my heart when I asked. And you won't believe it, the way my Kundalini rose and the vibrations that just flew, and it was such a tremendous experience. I can't tell you. It was just beautiful. Again, it's not that he can make me do it or you can make me do it. You have to desire, and it's not that you have to know all these mantras, but even a sincere pray from your heart, she will take care of you. And then after a couple of years, we moved back to Delhi. And then we were there. And then I just had this sudden desire that I just want to see her. I want to go and meet her. I don't know why I want to meet her also. I don't know why. So Dr. Nigam, who's a very dear friend of Manish and knows us very well, I just told him, Bhai Sahab, I want to meet Shimaji. So he told me, he says, Heeru, Manish is a very good friend of mine. Do you have any problem? Tell me. I said, I don't have any problem. I really don't. I don't know why, but I just want to, And he says, okay, we're having like a little private, music program on my terrace. Why don't you come? So I said, okay. So with my 3 kids, I took them and I went for the program and I sat at her feet. And I looked at her and, I just said, I wanted to tell her, and she said, Abhi nahi. And she told me, come tomorrow and see me, and I want to see. So I attended the program, everything. Then the next day in the morning, and there were some yogis who were visiting and staying at our house. And there were some things that I had to give her. And that's when she said, nahi, aaj nahi, tum kal aana. Come tomorrow. So I came. So I remember dressed nicely, standing in front of her, outside her room and praying to Shimaji that I've always got scoldings from you, But this time, Shimaji, I don't want that scolding, I just want your love and nothing else. And then she made me wait there, for about almost an hour and a half or something. But I think she was just cleansing me so that I would just be absolutely. Then I went to her feet, and I said, thank you, Shimaji. And she told me, for what? I said, Shimaji, I just raised my little finger towards you. But you gave me the world. The world was not that I was still able to go to America, because my visa I wasn't getting, I was just going to even just visit him. I wasn't. And it was quite a journey. It took many years. But I knew within that time she was working it out for me because I had to do it on my own, not with him on top of my head. I had to do it on my own. So it is your individual journey. No one can make you do it, and no one can. But I used to be lost in the bhakti bhav, you know. And I used to, I found it, and even when I was in Bangalore, I just found a job where I was not even qualified to get a job, and I just got it. Like everything started falling in place, you know. And then when I just said thank you, Shimaji, and she looked at me, and she, gave me a pat and she gave me a kiss, and then she told me I was waiting for this, this is what I was waiting for, you know. And then I was just telling her, I said, Shivaji, I don't know what happens to me. I'm sitting in the bus, chartered bus, and I'm going to work. And I know the bhajans and all, I'm listening, and I'm so, involved with that I used to miss getting off at my stop. Like that's how I become. And then she looked at me. She says, no, this is all that the same day she said, she says, no, that's not how you are supposed to be. She says, itna bhi, you don't have to be lost so much that you forget yourself. You have to be in the present, that kind of a thing. So that's how it was. And then I remember she told me, and this was at the ashram in Delhi.
The ashram.
In Shivaji's house, apartments were on the top, and downstairs was the meditation center. And that evening there was a meditation. And then that day, she told me, she said, Heeru, acha, usko kuch khana khila do. And I was just like so happy that I didn't want to eat anything. And that's another thing. If Shimaji said, eat, eat. I didn't, because I was just so, inside so happy, that I finally found my mother and she gave me love, not a
Yeah.
scolding, not a puppet.
Yeah.
And then I went, in the evening, then I came down and then I went for the program. And then my stomach was churning, hurting. And then I said, oh, you know what? Shimaji told me I should eat and I did not, So that was it. And then again with the three kids, Manish was there and I was, there. And I remember in the beginning days when we were married and, we had the children, he would always be going, and we would go, but he would never really help me with the children. And I used to be always not enjoying, because I never learned to just give, as to just think. But later, after he left, and I used to travel with the Sahaja Yogis, and I used to go, and my mother-in-law would tell me, Heeru, you want to go, you go, but why are you taking the children? I said, no, it is important for them. So now also everybody remembers like, oh, Heeru and the three kids. No matter what programs, I used to be there and they used to be sleeping, falling off, but they would all be there. But the collective was always there. I went to Ganpati fully with all three of them and they were little, my daughter was just two, but I never felt anything because she just took care. Everybody was just there doing it. So it is when you surrender totally, that's when you are. So, like your daughter had mentioned earlier, we're all a piece of work. I still feel I am, that piece of work that is there. But it's never too late if you really and sincerely ask. She is there to protect you. And even now I go up and down, I might go, but I know she's there, you know.
I think it's a
And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's funny, like even like the whole week, like yes, his parents were not Sahaja Yogis. His mother would have become a Sahaja Yogi, but I think it was always that conflict, uh, of she felt like Shimaji has taken over her son, and that. And then later, my son had to explain to her that, Dadi, Papa loves you very much. You are his mother who has given him birth, and Shimaji is his spiritual mother. There's no difference. But that was that thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it was funny, like but they never followed any wrong
No.
gurus or anything like that. So Shimaji protected me. She took me out from that environment and put me in a place where, and I lost my father when I was just 13. But she gave me also that security, of a father that I wanted. Everything that I wanted, she just put it out for me. So it was that. So you can feel that blessings, you can feel that, thing. And when we came here, we didn't have anything, but it just worked out. She just does everything.
Everything. She does it all. When was
Yeah.
this meeting with Shri Mataji, this desire that you had, and when you went to
I
this music program at
I
Nigam's
came
house?
I came in to America in 1998. So I would probably say it may have been around end of 96, I think,
Okay. Okay.
around that time. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow. So Shri as generous a mother we have known no other. She would give a lot of presents. Is there anything that you cherish? I mean, amongst the several that she's given, I mean, it's countless in our lives, isn't it?
Uh,
Something you'd
you
like to.
know, Sushmita, I'd say anything and everything I have has come from her. I'm very not only clear about it, I know that. And she's been extremely generous. I mean, from a worldly stage, yeah, she gave lots of gifts. You know, this bracelet I'm wearing was given by her.
Wow.
So the reason why I wear it is because she gave it.
Awesome.
There's no other reason. Um, I would say in 1989, 90, I spent time with her at Pratishthan and in Delhi. And so we were in Pratishthan. Pratishthan was being built. I think the structure had been built, but the furnishings all had not been done. And then one morning I woke up and was just, getting ready and coming to her. And she came and she said, yellow. And she gave me a watch, right? Not that I didn't have a watch, but, it was special that she gave, So down the years, she gave so many things. I mean, Shimaji was, generosity personified. But I would also say this to especially the ladies that while she was extremely generous and she gave things, but she never did anything to spoil anyone. And even in her talks, if you listen, she said, I know what it's like to be a granny and how you have to run the household. And sometimes, the money is limited and
Yes.
how you have to manage effectively in that. So, whatever you have, whatever is given to you, be satisfied with it, establish that peace within you and the balance. The balance is also important. So all three need to be there because you can say, oh, I'm generous, but then you're going beyond your means, or you're being, I'm peaceful now, whatever I do in that peace, everything is okay. But is the other part of it also established? Also, as you know, she's, Raji Lakshmi, she's Mahalakshmi. I'll tell you of an incident in 1997, 98. I told you I spent a lot of time with Shimaji in Noida at her house. So if you've been to the house, Sir CP's living area used to be on the first floor. Shimaji's was on the second floor. And on top was the terrace and the Barsati, And so, there was the elevator. But, Sir CP, when he would come up, because they would eat in Shimaji's area and dining area and all the rest of it, so he would come up the stairs, a short walk up. And so, of course, it was this, staircase coming up. And so there was this person who would continuously turn off the lights. And so, somehow that went to Shimaji and, maybe Sir CP said, why don't the light band karte hain? They always keep turning off the light. And then she kind of questioned this person. And she said, why do you keep turning off the lights? And he's like, oh, mother, the electricity bill is so much and all the rest of it. And she looked at him and she said, I'm Mahalakshmi. Shimaji never really said those things, but she said, I'm Mahalakshmi. And I was sitting there and I was just watching and I was like, okay. Okay, so, sometimes in our human awareness, we kind of get lost in that and you think this, that. The fact remains that she's divinity personified. She's the source of it all. And also, as Sahaja Yogis, we have to remember, not only we have to become the spirit, and she said this, that you have to become divine. You have to become Mangalmay. And you have to let your divinity express itself. And that's not going to happen by, going to human means. We have to kind of separate ourselves from that and understand and know and innately let that divine power express itself. Because if we are her channels, then we have to be the channel. Then we can't have Manish coming up because Manish can be a riot, right? But the spirit is just a blessing. So that is really what it is. It's all, can you imagine so many angels? The world should have changed by now. So we have to embrace that part of us so that the divine vibrations flow. I say to children many times, I said, you guys are used to the internet. Now, if the internet is faulty and it's not working, you're going to say, this is a piece of crap. Same way, if we are supposed to be that channel and the channel is not receiving, then we also becoming crappy. So understand that point.
True.
So our responsibility is immense, but it's a responsibility of joy. Also, while it's a responsibility, but it's a responsibility of joy. And it's sharing that love and that joy of the Spirit, which she's bestowing on us continuously. I mean, you're sitting and you can actually feel her, all the time. I think many of us would not survive when she left, but she never left,
Yes.
there all the time. And that's the part which has to be not only shared, but has to be embraced. That when you become that eternal spirit, then when did you leave and when did you come? Nothing. Shivali would say to us, I'm telling you many times, she said, मैं तो बुलबुल आऊं, मैं ऐसे चली जाऊंगी. That I'm just this like
Bubble.
bubbles, and I'll just disappear like that. And I would say, okay.
She said it to you several times.
Yeah, said it many times. I would also say, sometimes I also want to point this out that sometimes, people be like, oh, Sasipi is Narayan and he's Shankar and he's this. And she said, absolutely not. He's nothing of that, and I would say he was her husband. So she always gave him that respect, and we always gave him that respect. But he was not someone who's divine or something of the kind. I got scolded on more than half a dozen occasions when she said, don't give him so much importance. And I said, Shmaji, he's your
Can
husband.
could you share with us one instant? Because it's important in India, as you're familiar with the culture, respect for elders is inherent, it's innate. But for you and for you as well, Auntie, too, question to both of you that recognition of Shri Mataji is absolutely absolute, okay? But how would you sort of, for want of a better word, differentiate? So if you could illustrate it with an example so people don't get confused, please.
Very early in Sahaja Yoga, I was one day sitting with Shamaji. I don't know if there's anybody else there with me or not. Maybe there were, maybe there weren't. But if there were maybe just a few people. And I said to Shamaji, Shamaji, when, Shri Ram came, Shri Sita was there, Shri Hanuman was there, Shri Lakshman was there, all of that. When Mother Mary came, Lord Christ was there. When Prophet Muhammad came, then Shri Hazrat Ali was there, then Hazrat Fatima was there, and then Hassan Hussain was there. So I said, Shimaji, who came with you? I actually asked her that question. She kept quiet for a minute, and then she said, Beta, this time I've come by myself with all my powers in totality. So that kind of answered that question right there and there. And so when I looked at the family, right, and I know Sadhana Didi, I know Kalpana Didi, I know the grandchildren, all of them. And on occasion, she said to me things about the grandchildren, like, I'm just going to say, Anand was a small little boy when we came to Sahaja Yoga, and he used to keep jumping around. And so one day she said to me, she said, he's like Buddha, because he would come to us and say, how much tapasya have you done? How much penance have you done? And we'd look at him and he said, I've done a lot of tapasya. So I said, very good. On one occasion, I was offering Shivaji tea here in the morning. This was in Noida. And I just offered her tea. I probably gave her the newspapers or whatever it was. And she just looked at me and she said, this was around the time when Sonu was going to get married. And she said, Kalpana or Sadhana, Kalpana and Sadhana were in my stomach for 9 months. Even that has some meaning. And I just looked at her feet and I said, yes, Shivaji, Ji Shivaji. But at the same point of time, as I pointed out to you, on many occasions, Shivaji said to me very point blank, and I'm talking to some other people, they had similar experiences. She said, don't give them so much importance. So they were her family. We gave her the respect. We still give them that respect. But, you know, I think Dr. Nigam said it to me so nicely once. He said, they're adharniya, they're to be respected, but they're not pujniya, they're not to be worshipped. And,
Yes.
you know, I'm very clear on that point. I mean, my astha is to Shrimadji, not
Yeah.
to anybody else, nobody else. You know, so, um, you know, I have a very nice relationship with all of them. You know, I respect them, but that's as far as it goes. And things which were done by the family is not what Shrimadji wanted or said. So you have to go to what she said and what she wanted. For example, I just say, even about pujas and all the rest of it, you asked about Havan. I'll tell you a very interesting incident from 1997, Ganpati Phule. So, you know, Shrimadji was in Mumbai, I was in Mumbai, and because she was close by, I would go there in the morning and, you know, spend time with her and all that. And so one day, the leader of India called me at that point of time. His name was Arun Goyal. He says, "Oh, Manish, you're probably seeing Shrimadji. So when you see her, can you please ask her if we should do a havan before she comes?" So I said, "Okay, Arun, I'll ask her." So when I met Shrimadji, I mentioned this to her. And she looked at me and she said, "हम कोई आर्य समाजी थोड़ा है." So this thing that, you know, you have to keep doing havans all the time is also not part of the Hajj. You do a havan when you need it, but you just don't say, okay, you know, now we have a puja weekend, so it has to start with a havan. No, I'm telling you exactly what she said to me. And other part of it is, of course, worshipped her many times in pujas, collective pujas, and all the rest of the time. You'd be surprised, I never attended even one havan with her.
Wow.
I never attended even one havan with her, so I don't know. And then when she said that to me, you know, so sometimes when I see people go overboard and be like, oh, we must do a havan, then we must do this. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do any of those things. You know, but if you need it, for example, if somebody needs to do candling, then you better do candling. If you need to do foot soak, you need to shoe beat, do it. But doing that doesn't make you a Sahaja Yogi. You know, those are tools or weapons. These are our astras. You know, a lemon is our astra. You know, if we need it, you can do what do you call a matka if you need it. But you don't keep saying, okay, now I need to keep doing a matka all the time. You know, these are treatments. I mean, if you have stomach upset, you know, you can take some stomach medicine, but then you don't say, okay, let me take some medicine for the throat and this and that. That's the discretion of Sahaja Yoga, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to add one thing about getting back to what you asked about giving respect. And, so I remember when we got married, and like his parents were not Sahaja Yogis, but his mother was really an embodiment of being a Graha Lakshmi, But again, Manish you said that, oh, maybe, the children need to be more in a Sahaja environment and I should move out, and he asked Shri Mataji. She looked at him and she said, you've come here to make and not to break, So even if, I think, culturally in India, we know how to give that respect, how to, do. And yes, not everybody is meant to be a Sahaja Yogi, but they can still lead very Sahaj lives, if it is in your destiny to be that or to meet God, yes, they did meet God, but to know that this is God,
Yes.
again, your thing, if you really have that desire to meet God, right? But I have to say one thing, that we living with his parents, because I did live with them a long time, and many times he would tell me, he says, you're more married to my family than to me. I said, but yes, the children were small and I was living with them and you would be traveling. So yes, I was more married to them, but I did all my duties. And for that, even to this day, I am respected for that, and they know. and I have to be grateful also, because Shimaji puts you in that environment, but you get to learn, you get what you needed, and the blessings are there not only for us, but for them too. They went through ups and downs in their lives, and I was part of that, but I saw that how things would again fall back into place. But the important thing is that his mother was not really, she was born into a Sikh family, like half Sikh, and her parents, I never met them. They were already that past, but they were very religious, and see in their family that thing was there. So she was not very religious, but towards the end, like, going through the troubled times in life, she started reading, doing the
Part.
the Japji Sahib.
Japji Sahib.
Yeah, and all that. So
From the
I would be doing my meditation in the morning and playing my bhajans, and she would be doing her thing. So there was a very peaceful, balanced atmosphere in the house, which was very nice. It was good for the children, it was good for everything. And she had a share of health issues and all, but it still was peaceful. Like his father passed very peacefully without suffering, His mom also, she went through times, but again, very peaceful,
I would add this, Sushmita, just for people. I once said to Shimaji when I was in America and they were in India, I said, Shimaji, I feel my parents have all the responsibility of the children and so on and so forth. And she looked at me and said, no, they are getting their blessings.
Yeah.
So, even in those things, again, you've got to see how the whole works, and the whole works even beyond just the Sahaja Yogis. So it's just how it is.
It is.
And I think it is just like how Shrimaji said that I think even if one person knows God and has felt that love, then the blessings first start in the house. Then when you go out to work, people see that in you. Then it spreads to the city, it spreads to the country, and that's how it starts. And like Manish works for LAUSD, and his executive secretary is also a Sahaja Yogini. I mean, she comes to Sahaja Yoga, and he never tells me or shares about his stress at work or whatever it is. He deals with it, and he comes home and he's done. I never know what is the stress, but she happened to tell me that Heeru, it's your husband is such an example, and I've seen like any other man would have really had some issues, health issues or something, with the amount of, because he had one very bad boss or whoever. I never knew, he never discusses or he tells me. And then she said that he was making everybody's life miserable, and he was really after him, but I saw that man always staying calm, always staying, thing. And in the end, that man was ousted out and was exposed for all his wrongdoings, and everything just works out,
Well, it just so reminds how you're saying how Uncle's so calm. It reminded me of my own father dealing with things, so
Yeah.
much of stress from
Yeah.
stuff as petty politics as happens
Yeah.
in the work world. But he would never bring it home. We were just so protected from it all. And
Yeah.
I doubt if mum knew anything much about it either. So really, it's just amazing, this tenacity
Yes.
that you have for the benefit of the yogis, and for people who are in families where there are, where this Sahaja Yoga is not for the whole family. People are sort of not adverse against members of family practicing Sahaja Yoga, but they are not in Sahaja Yoga as such. Are there any things that you could sort of share with us that would in any way inspire or help them?
I would say one thing. I think the rules and the basics of Sahaja Yoga being defined very clearly by Shimaji. There's no ambiguity out there. Having said that, there's no such thing also that you need to separate yourself. But if it is affecting you and you need to take that path, then you need to do that. I will also say this, that for all of us to grow, one of the things that all Sahaja Yogis, whether old or young, should know that she is the source of everything. So you don't have to go to anyone else, but also the obedience. The obedience to what she has said should be absolute. Like young kids sometimes like, oh, I'm going in for a tattoo. I'm like, really? Since when did that become part of Sahaja Yoga? She's said these things. She did not like people walking in front of her in shorts or short skirts, right? Why should you even wear them? I'm telling you to date, I do not wear shorts for the simple reason she didn't like them. I don't wear denim because she did not like jeans. I wear corduroys, but I don't wear denim. So once somebody might say, now you're being too extreme, maybe. But one of the things of a Sahaja Yogi is to please her. And so find that thing in everything that you do. How do I please her? Even when you cook or you do anything, or you're doing anything, you're maybe a carpenter, enjoy it. This is a service which you're doing and you're creating something beautiful out of it. So enjoy that part of it. I see some of the young girls, they went to wear something off shoulder. They want to do this. Why do you want to do that? Don't you know that Shri Mahakali over here and Shri Mahasaraswati here? When we use our hands, those are the two powers which are working. Why do you want to insult them? Especially when your chakras have been awakened. So what is that attraction that you have to be like everybody else? I mean, one side you say I'm unique. The next side you just want to be, I don't know, commonplace. So know who you are. Your uniqueness is your spirit. I mean, a Sahaja Yogi. So a Sahaja Yogi, the rules are defined. The boundaries are defined. If you cross them over, there will be problems. I'll give you an example. We were very young. I think we were like 23 or something like that. We one day sitting with Shimaji. And she said, these mustaches and beards and all these are just expressions of ego. Guess what? We all had mustache, and next day the mustache was off. I'm just telling you, it was off.
He was a Sikh. His parents, father was
She
a
knows
Sikh.
the story, I
Yeah.
told them. But I'm just saying, for us, it was like a law. And, so some of our wives looked at us and what happened to them. And the point was, Shimaji just made a comment and they were off. Because, I mean, why would you do anything which is contrary to what pleases her? Simple thing. I mean, these pants with holes in them. Why do you have to wear these holy pants? I mean, you attract the boots. I mean, like some of these kids I see, oh, they've got hair going like this. Could we ever go in front of Shimaji like that? The answer is absolutely not. I mean, she'd be like, what is this? And we'd be straightened out in less than 1 minute. And so what gives you the right? And if an elder is telling you, I mean, listen to them for heaven's sake. They're not trying to change your personality, or they're not trying to terrorize you. They're just telling you what's good for you. And she's talked about, making your hair properly. And she's like, otherwise, some of the booths might be looking and say, oh, one of us. And then you get a booth come on you. And then what's going to happen? There's actually a talk of hers where she said that, even badhas are important because Sahaja Yogis are so casual about everything. So if the badha is not there, how do you correct them? And so somebody asked her then, Shimaji, how long is the badha supposed to be there? And she said, that's totally dependent on you. I mean, this is a 75 talk, and I can send you those talks. And
Please do.
talking about the pujas, she's defined her times for pujas. Now there was this time when, Shivaji was keeping quiet. And so, other people were making some decisions, right? But those weren't necessarily her decisions. And so they do a puja at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Before that, did we ever hear of Shivaji doing pujas at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Never. And luckily I found, so people said, what's your source? This like now going to the Bible and saying in verse this. So I found that talk where Shivaji is saying, these are my timings. If you want to do pujas, then you can do them at 5 in the morning. Or else after that, do that after 11 in the morning. In the afternoon, she would always sleep. She would rest. And then she would wake up around 6, have a snack, and then she'd be ready for whatever program is around 7. So how difficult is it? Sometimes I've heard people say it's it's inconvenient for families. Well, if these children are Sahaja Yogi children, nothing is going to go wrong if they have to be up till 10 or 11 o'clock at night once in a month or whatever it might be. They're Sahaja Yogis. They should be able to adapt to those things. So, even parents, this time the food has to be served. Oh God, if it doesn't get served, they still live. Nothing is going to go wrong. They are Sahaja Yogis. Bring them up like saints. You cannot bring them up the way you and I grew, because what sustains them is when they get that divine nectar and that divine food, which is vibrations, not this human stuff. So we have to be cognizant of that thing. And I think things are changing and improving. But, when somebody's coming new and, of course, you can't tell them the whole story in one day, gradually, you tell them the thing, but you have to tell them. You can't shy away from telling them. Like somebody once said to me, I was doing a program which I said was a little more intensive. And they said, somebody said, send me a text message, email, said, oh, I'd like to come. I said, you're very welcome to come. But I would say this to you, that if you want to come, then please, you have to, get rid of some of your habits. And they said, oh, and this person was not married. So they thought because they're not married, then they could play the field. No, you come to Sahaja Yoga. If you are a Sahaja Yogini, you're a person who's chaste.
Yes.
Your chastity should matter more to you than, all your everything else. And, how can us people in Sahaja Yoga, young boys, girls, whatever it is, have boyfriends and girlfriends? I don't understand that. Have brothers and sisters, so somebody might say, oh, but first establish your chastity. That's through brotherhood and sisterhood. Then you come to the other part of it. Then your marriages will be successful. Everything else will be successful because the base is very much established.
The foundation need to be strong.
Foundation is innocence, is chastity. It is Shri Ganesha. It is Mother Kundalini. She is love personified. So if you say my love is directed to two people, well, you're going against her because she loves the whole universe. Now you've got to become the same. So we have to change.
It is so simple, and yet so when one gets mental, it becomes complex, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you find yourselves in these moments, and what do you do to untangle and get out of it? How do you get out of that state?
Well, I remind myself every day of two things. Number one, that, oh, Shri Ganesha, because Shimaji said, you need to have Shri Ganesha fully established in you. That kindly make me that innocence, that total purity, make me auspicious, and make me my divine self. And under your supervision, kindly establish my self-realization fully in this lifetime. And Shimaji, you're the love of this whole universe. It's your love which created everything, sustains everything. just get me to that point. And to be answering clearly, does one fall? Yes.
Many times.
But but then that is the prop which brings me up again.
True.
And I'm like, no, that is my goal. That is my destination. It's at her feet. And in that, the whole universe is there. Even the lords of the universe reside at her feet. So who am I? If I'm even allowed to be there, that's the biggest blessing. And I don't have to be anything. You've heard the story of the Murli and Sri Krishna. And the Murlis, supposedly Sri Radha was jealous of the Murli.
Murli is
And
the flute.
yeah, because
Yes.
it's attached to the lips of Sri Krishna.
Yeah.
And she said, my specialty is I'm hollow. Whichever way he plays me, I get played. Now, if somebody says, are you that flute? And the answer to that is not fully, but the attempt and the desire, and also not only the desire, but the action to become that is very much there. And with that, I would also say through her grace, that will also happen.
Indeed.
And it's funny, it's like, sometimes, you are having some problems or you're thinking about how I should resolve it. And this has happened to me several times. And I think it happens to everybody. But then, you go to the collective and you listen to a talk, and then you feel that talk is actually answering your question that you have, and it always would be, because when, Manish was in America and we were there, and we were, I would take the children and we would take the bus and go from Noida all the way there. But there was a chartered bus for the yogis and we used to go. And then, I used to wait for that whole week, and whatever, because, again, living in a non-sedge environment, sometimes you do get bogged down by, because, when your husband is there, he can put his foot down and say, no, we're
Yeah.
not going to do this. But
Yes.
for me, as a daughter-in-law of the house, it would get difficult, so I used to have those moments like, what do I do, or what do I say, or what? But then, again, I was bound by my maryadas or not to say anything, because, that's not I shouldn't be doing that. But then I would just go to, and I used to get bogged down sometimes by these things. And then I used to just go on that Saturday. And that was one thing that I never missed. Come rain or shine or whatever, the kids and me, we would be there, And somehow she's talking and she's just answering that problem or that question or the dilemma that you had, And I don't know, I see the children these days and I see the children there, not just my kids, but all, the
Younger kids.
collective, the children, they never used to be walking around or anything. And we never used to give them toys or books to distract them. They just knew that they have to sit and they would sit. It would be 2 hours. They would sit. We never had them. Maybe they would fall asleep sometimes, but
Yes.
never roaming around, walking around, doing, like I see, I visit my daughter and, in their collective, they have a separate room for the children and the mothers sit there with the children, but she never sits there with the children, because you teach the child,
You do.
it starts at home, because they know that they have to, so they know, So those are also things that I think, mothers have to also teach.
I think mothers' jobs are getting more and more complicated
Maybe,
with time and social media and such subtle addictions to things and
especially
negative
especially
influences.
living in the West, juggling between,
Yes.
and when I came to the United States, there were ashrams everywhere, and we lived in the ashram, and I used to feel like, I felt like, oh, every day there was somebody who was in charge of cooking and all, but I felt like this. I told Manisha, this feels like a marriage house. Every day there's like, but it was so much fun. Because we used to do things collectively, we used to do programs collectively, but now, after Shri Mataji laid down the rules, so everybody followed. You get up in the morning, you do foot soak in the evening, everyone doing things collectively. In
It
India,
reminds me of
Yeah, in
Uncle
India,
Bala's ashrams that Shri Mataji had directed him to
Yeah.
yeah.
do.
Yeah, and in India, so much emphasis was not given on ashrams because we knew how to live
Yes.
collectively, how to do things in a disciplined way. But here it wasn't. So, and here because the outside attractions are so much, so it was so nice. But now that I see in America, it's such a huge country, but I can count on my fingers, maybe there are only 3 or 4 ashrams. You know
Oh.
and everybody is living their individual life, so you see then the mothers are also more burdened. I
Mm.
remember when I came there, and because I still was not, I mean, I had to wait a little while before I could start working, and at that time there was a yogini, she was having a baby. I looked after the baby, I took care of her, I did all those things.
Mm.
Because there are, you if you have to go somewhere in the evening or you have a work meeting or something, somebody is there because the old and the young and they're living together.
Yes. Yes.
But it's not so anymore because everyone, because earlier Shimaji would just, especially for the West, they just needed it to come directly from her,
Mm.
and
Mm.
that was it, you know, and then they would just follow. But now, it's become little, it's you, me, myself, and my child, and my this, and it's just become so, and now you see the people are facing problems,
Yeah.
the children are, you know, and it's
Yeah.
sad. It's really sad to see that.
But I would say, as the last thing, Sushmita, is the one thing which I would say is Sahaja Yoga is a place full of joy, full of love, full of compassion, full of all that. But also you have to work towards it.
Mm.
So this thing, one thing which I would say is this parallel living that people do, that outside I'm like this, then inside I'm like this. No, you have to be innately that, and that's what needs to come out all the time, whether you're inside, outside, whatever it might be. Because what defines us is I'm a Sahaja Yogi, and so establish those principles inside, establish your dharma, the Vishwa Nirmal Dharma. I'm not going to say dharma anymore. It's Vishwa Nirmal Dharma. And let that manifest and let those values and those powers manifest. It's no longer even quality. It's let those powers manifest.
Yeah.
And don't embrace anything which is contrary to that.
Yeah.
So even this thing that I have to keep up with my family, you got a Kans mama. Well, why do you have to keep up with him? You got to let go of the thing, because otherwise it's going to eat into you and it's going to destroy you. Because usse, what comes from that is what is called as a dosha.
Mm.
Is you basically inviting a problem. Why would
Mm.
you do that? Nobody's saying that you hate, but at the same point of time, there's a clear demarcation. So it's a huge thing. It embraces the whole universe. Just become that and let everyone become that too, because even the ones who might be misplaced, they need more of a thing to come. They need to see 2 million people who are actively doing it. I'm telling you, 2 million Sahaja Yogis really become Sahaja Yogis and emit the powers of Shrimanji. Trump,
Mhm.
what? This whole universe will change.
Yes. Yes.
Very
But
true. Like sometimes you see some of the children and
yes.
you like, oh, they grew up and they've become like this. But then again, you see other children, and many times, and I just tell Manish, I said, you know what, Shimaji's vision will stay, because when you see some of the other children and you see the innocence on their face so intact, then you feel no. Because sometimes you're a little, like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What will happen? Will this become another
It's her play.
religion?
It's her
And
But
play.
then you know that again, you don't have to worry.
yeah.
She knows,
And
and so I think all of us, we really do have like a huge responsibility, and especially us, like you and me and older Saj yogis. I think we have to do that so that, the
together.
foundation, as you say, is strong. So the blocks building on it are absolutely,
Firm and sturdy.
yes.
Yeah,
It's
even
really
talking.
nice. Because not recently, just a few weeks ago or months, even, the current state of world affairs and everything, things happening in collective worldwide, and the state of the world in every way, socio-political, economic, whatever. And we were listening to this talk and meditation. Shri said, and we were, as talking, Shankarji and I, and we were like, we just surrender it to Shri. And then in that meditation, Shri, like Auntie was saying, Shri answers the query, and Shri said in that talk how Shiva is not going to just let his creation be destroyed so easily that has been created by her. And that brought us so much reassurance and relief. And this is exactly what you and both are resonating. So
The
it's
other
a
thing
desire.
that I don't know if Manish mentioned it, but Shimaji had told him once that, when the time comes, you have to speak. Even if people don't like it, if you know this is the truth, then you have to stand and fight for the truth,
Yes.
because we have to be her soldiers.
Yes.
You know?
It
Yeah,
reminds
so
me of what
sometimes
Uncle.
you feel like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to hurt somebody's feeling. I don't want to, and I'm not going to say it because it's, I'll be the bad person, I think it's okay to be, because sometimes Manish is that strict person. So we until Manish, but then later they realize and they say, no, thank you, Uncle Manish.
No, it's important, and
But if
yeah,
you see something wrong, then yes, you must
correct it.
correct
Correct
it.
it. Oh, very nice. This is like being the warrior that Shri Mataji told you, isn't it, Shankar? Have that.
I think a Sahaja Yogi is the most peaceful person, but when required, then you have to be that too.
Yeah.
Take the sword.
Take
I
this.
mean, not literally, but
Absolutely. Yeah, well, yeah, thanks to Shri Mataji, we have all these invisible protections and armaments and
Yeah.
facilities and faculties. It's all her blessings. Thank you so much. Thank you
All
so
right,
much
Bete.
for taking
Thank you
this
so
time
much.
out, for joining us this afternoon. Jai Shrimati Auntie and Jai
Thank
Shrimati
you.
Uncle. And most of all, thank you, Shrimati, for making it all happen for us and making it all so easy. Please hold our hands and guide us every step.
I would also say, Sushmita, it was a pleasure meeting Sri Devi, because in just the short conversation that I had, I could see that this is a young lady who is sensible. There is wisdom. And also, there is some grounding in her, which is wonderful to see in children.
It's all thanks to Shrimati. And when you were saying you don't wear denim, I have to share our son Vinay, who was born on the Indian Independence Day, because my husband is English. He hasn't worn jeans because he said, no, Shrimati said not to wear jeans. I'm not going to wear it since a toddler, since a young child. So it's their children, as you both have said, and she's looking after them. We just happen to be here.
Yeah, that too. They are her children. Never forget that. Yeah. And I'm glad to hear that there's some young person doing that, because otherwise, it's this Uncle Manish who's saying, don't do this now, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, it's sharing with you. Now, whether you do it or not, it's up to you.
Yes,
But it's true. She did not care for denim. She did not care for these jeans. And she used to say about shorts, she said, "वो निकर पहन के आ गया," So,
Knicker is Hindi for sure.
that's right.
Just for people who wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And then even for the young, adults, like, with the age group of 20 and 25, she
Yeah.
would call them what? Gadde
Gadde
Pachise.
Pachisi, Gadde Pachisi.
Gadhe Pachisi.
Yeah, she
When
said
we
that.
were 25
Yeah.
and we'd be walking around, we'd be packing her bags, putting the bags here, there, everywhere. sometimes on the India tour, and we'd be standing there, and she'd look at us and, "What are you doing this? Go and start serving." So then we used to pick up the buckets and we used to go and serve, right? And then she, with humor and that, and she said, "Tum log gade pachisi ho. You're the 25-year-old donkeys."
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
so
my son used to say, "Oh, you were so lucky. You must have been sitting with Shimadi and meditating." I said, "You think so? You had to be alert like this.
yeah,
You had to be alert like this, just a glance, and you had to understand what it meant." So there was no meditation going on, but you were in meditation because she was taking care of you and you're with her, but you
yeah.
had to know exactly what she needed and what she wanted. And just one like, or she'd just do a flick of her finger and you had to understand it.
Yeah, I must say, because we haven't been in those times, I was very naive to ask um, Maureen Rossi in one of the interviews what they would do when relaxing with Shimataji. Like, even, you've heard Shimataji's put oil in their
Yeah.
head, or, watch a movie. So, like a downtime. And then Felicity and Maureen, we met after a puja and we had such a good laugh because, like you say, there was no time like free time or chilling out time. You're always alert because the goddess is there, and you have to understand her desire and be that channel, be that instrument.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for the beautiful insight into your special times with Srimataji. Totally, totally unparalleled. Thank you, Srimataji, for giving us these elders who actually um, are instrumental in making sure that your legacy continues. Thank you again, Auntie and Uncle.
Yes,
Thank you,
Shimati.
Srimataji.